Society admitted their report was incorrect, and now you've got organizations lobbying for terminating Joe and I because of this stuff. So this narrative persists. Then you see all the actions I mentioned before, and all the organizations saying we're doing the right thing. And I gotta say, like, we're living in I mean, I feel like we're looking at the doorway to the nightmare dystopia of.
Yeah. I just want to clarify. Like, I don't know if we're going around saying we're necessarily doing the right thing. We're saying why we're doing what we're doing.
Right, right.
That's what we need to get better at. And I don't want to hide behind what we believe is the right thing. We have to clearly rationalize why we're making the decision we're making, and more of that. That to me is the prevention from this snowflake avalanche metaphor.
Well, but I think it's just obvious to point out, again, I said this before, we can have the calm conversation and I can understand you, but from where I'm sitting, you hold a vastly different ideology than I do, and you have substantially more power in controlling my government. That terrifies me. And what makes it worse is that a Saudi prince owns, as was reported, that a Saudi prince owns a portion of that company. So I'm sitting here like just a little American, can't do anything to stop it. I'm just watching this unaccountable machine churn away, and you're just one snowflake in that avalanche. All these other companies are as well. And I'm like, well, here we go. It's going to be a ride. The avalanche has started.
As Vijay said, that Saudi prince doesn't have any influence.
But am I supposed to trust that? That's the issue, right? I'm not trying to insinuate he's showing up to your meetings and telling you what to do, but when someone dumps $1 billion in your company, I think it's silly to imply that they don't at least have some influence. Yeah. But regardless.
And unlike the internet, within a company like ours, you don't necessarily see the protocol, you don't see the processes, and that is an area where we can do a lot much better.
I guess, you know, beat it over the head a million times, beat the dead horse. I think ultimately, yeah, I get what you're doing. I think it's wrong. I think it's terrifying, and I think we're on the avalanche already. It's happening, and we're heading down to this nightmare scenario of the future where it terrifies me when I see people who claim to be supporting liberal ideology burning signs that say free speech, threatening violence against other people. You have these journalists who do the same thing. They accuse everybody of being a Nazi, everybody of being a fascist. Joe Rogan, for president. And you're like a socialist, as far as I know. You're like UBI proponent. You know.
I wouldn't necessarily say I'm a socialist. I'm very liberal.
I'm being facetious.
I'm very liberal, and except for Second Amendment, that's probably the only thing that I disagree with a lot of liberals on.
And then you see what the media says about everybody. You see how they call Jordan Peterson all day and night alt-right. The alt-right hates him. Yeah. And this narrative is used to strip people of their income, to remove them from public discourse. And
well, it's foolish because ultimately, upon examination, like you were saying, that sunlight is the best disinfection.
Absolutely.
And upon examination, you realize that this is not true at all, and that these people look foolish, like the Data in Society article.
No. All these organizations publish that as fact without looking at any data.
Maybe some did, but anybody.
Some dozens.
But yeah. Maybe.
And no, they're still citing it.
We're talking about millions and millions of people. Who are these people that are still citing it?
Guardian.
Well, clang the bell and start yelling shame.
But so look, we now have, and this, which makes things muddier, is we now have a guy who's claiming that he did you're gonna love this. There's a guy claiming that the 81 accounts listed on this thing as alt-right are no longer being recommended on YouTube. And so I looked at the statistics for various people on this channel, because first of all, my channel is doing great. My recommendations are way up, as are yours. A lot of people are growing, and I did a comparison like, subscribers are up, views are up, what's this guy claiming? And apparently, he did a big sampling of videos where he, for some reason, thought you, Joe Rogan, were 12% of all videos in this network. And then when his data stopped working, he claimed that everything stopped. So he actually produced a